Hello and welcome. So today I want to talk about the latest breakfast changes I made, the latest addition to my breakfast. I'm your wellness coach here on Healthy Food Place, where we share ideas and recipes on how you can stay healthy naturally. Don't forget to click the subscribe button if you are coming for the first time. So, a quick one. Last time I shared some experience, some of my ideas, some of the breakfast ideas, on what my breakfast looked like. And it appeared also that there were high carbohydrates. Of course, I told us that I'll be coming up with updates because one of the secrets of wellness is making dietary changes, making modifications. And so last time, of course, I talked of cassava, edible cassava, the major carbohydrates, sweet potatoes, unripe plantains, and then I talked about eggplant in the morning, but something has been added to it, and I'll tell us why. Now, over time, I noticed also that there is occasional constipation, and somehow constipation is one of the leading cause, or let me put it this way, the root cause of many diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure. And so it became necessary also to make some changes in the breakfast, because I said that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And by that, that is not to say that immediately you wake up in the morning, you rush and go to the kitchen for your breakfast. Not at all. That's not a good habit. I don't preach that. I don't advocate for that. It's actually bad. Breakfast simply means the first meal of the day, the first main meal of the day in my own definition. It could be by 11 a.m., which is always the case. In my own case, 12, sometimes even 1 o'clock. But on rare occasions too, it could happen by 9:30. There is no hard and fast rule about it. You should always listen to your body depending on what you had for dinner. Sometimes if you had an early dinner, you could wake up in the morning feeling very light, and there may be need for you to go take something before 11 or before your normal time. So if that becomes the case, you don't have to, give yourself undue stress trying to wait for a specific time before you take that breakfast. You could just make it earlier occasionally, like I do. You could make it a bit earlier sometimes, but on a normal day, 11 o'clock is okay. 12 o'clock, you must have undertaken some exercises. And I believe we are doing that already. I share some of the exercise tips. There are still several of them. You must do that. It's also part of what I'm doing. And so I normally start with water therapy, like I said, exercising, and then you have to pray, do meditations, your own way, your own religion. But last time it was eggplant carrots, then sweet potatoes, and all of that. But this is another one that I've added, and that is cabbage. And I shall tell us why I decided to add cabbage to the carrot. And the fact was quite obvious and interesting. And that is why I thought to share it, because these are healing foods. And I started it because I had an athlete's foot, and eating on my foot that was dragging, going and coming, which is normal at our age. Any day your sugar rises, it seems as if you have been taken aback or taken backwards. And I need to also let us know that a lot of people are already living with diabetes. Yes, don't deceive yourself. Most older adults already having insulin-resistant issues because of too many carbohydrates in our diet, and nobody is left out. Almost a good number of us. And so whenever you are trying to manage something and it's becoming like taking some time, you need to look into your diet. That's exactly why I made that change, and it worked out perfectly. Cabbage is an excellent addition, which most of us who are following what I'm doing, trying to, adhere to some of the teachings, should also take. Several years, and in some of the interactions, I said it's quite high in sugar, which is true. And so for some years or thereabout, I actually avoided it. There was a time it was actually the main meal. More than 10 years ago, I used it effectively with carrot to manage my weight, to manage stomach ulcers, to alkaline the body, and several other things. But over time also, maybe overconsumption or other factors, the issue of sugar began also to rear its head. So, which is normal as you age. You must continue to observe these things. Nobody is exempted from it. And so it became necessary also to drop it, to drop the cabbage because of its effect on the sugar. And sometimes the portion also is the issue. The portion, if we take a larger portion, it may give us that effect also. So over time, I decided to drop it because of the sugar. And now, after several years of taking it out, it's resurfacing again. And the reason is because so many of the foods are being dropped. And the more you are dropping those foods, the more you'll be losing out in some of the essential nutrients. And so the focus now is on low-calorie vegetables. And that's one of the reasons. You can note it down. It's a low-calorie vegetable. All the vegetables are not of the same calorie content. And so the older we get, the more of the low-calorie vegetables we must focus on, irrespective of the sugar content, because the sugar and the calorie, they all count. And so when you do not take the high-calorie foods and you are taking the low-calorie veggies, so the total calorie count is reduced. And so it may necessarily not have effect on your blood sugar, especially if you back it up or combine it with blood sugar lowering foods, which we already talked about, several of the blood sugar lowering foods. And so it became necessary to add it. And how do I do that? I take some portion of it raw with cabbage, with carrots, very little portion. And it's actually somehow harsh because it's high content of vitamin C. And so the rest of it is kind of steamed. with a little green veggie. Now, the last time I talked about the my breakfast ideas, you will observe that there are more green vegetables in the morning and sometimes in the evening. And now, green vegetables are blood thickeners. Most greens are blood thickeners. And so, as you are consuming more of the blood thickeners, if you are observant and listening to your body, your blood begins to thicken up. And that's why a lot of people are worried and concerned that why is the blood pressure not coming down, or what exactly is the matter? Sometimes the matter is because when we are told that vegetables are the last option, they are the best, we eat green vegetables in large amounts. And so as we consume it, the blood gets thicker. And as the blood gets thicker, some ailments are difficult to manage. And some of these green vegetables are also high in oxalic acid. And so the older we get, the more of the oxalic acid rich foods we should be aware of. The less of it we should consume, and are also high in potassium, most of the greens. And so that is why I decided, or rather, I decided to make a little change, to switch slightly away from the greens and put more of the colors. Yes, more of the color. The colors are lower in calorie: carrot, cabbage, and then a little of the water leaf, which is also low in calorie. Those of you who are also managing high blood pressure, you will find it very, very beautiful if you combine cabbage, carrot, water leaf with your peanut oil and onions and other low calorie and water. We can put egg, which is normal, of course. Not egg. Egg goes very well with cabbage or sardine for your breakfast. A perfect, excluding whichever carb you decide to take. Not that you just poach it like that and begin to eat it. Of course, those of us who are used to high carb, who were raised with high carb and all of that, you can't just do cabbage and carrot and then begin to take and say you have had a breakfast. Of course, I won't take that. That's just what we call appetizer. It's actually a good one when you take it before you take your main meal. But this time around, I mix it. I take a little of it with the carrots raw. That is the reason I've discouraged us about too much of raw cabbage. Then, especially now that the onions is even, although it's not always like that in season, but it's a seasonal food, and so sometimes it's not actually much, talking in terms of purchasing. And so when I noticed that the greens were getting too much, and it's looks like the kidney is also feeling it, I made that point clear. When we are taking too much of green vegetables, there are some that are high in oxalic acid. The blood becomes thicker. If you have any disease to heal, it becomes difficult. The viral load of bacteria also begin to increase. I noticed all of this. I noticed it. They begin to increase. Because when the blood is increasing and getting thicker, they also tend to increase, and they want to enjoy the blood. They want to swim in it. And when the blood is thicker, those that are going through high blood pressure, they will experience it. I don't have issue with high blood pressure, but if no matter what it is, we must be aware of our key organs, like our kidney, when we are consuming the greens. So the bringing in of cabbage is in exchange so as to reduce too much of the greens. Too much of everything, including the good ones, I've already said is bad. And so we must, make conscious effort to monitor the quantity of the greens. You will have also noticed that the older adults in the village, though they don't do any scientific study or research or whatever, but they don't take much green. Their foods, their soups are usually lighter. And so in exchange for that, we need foods like cabbage. Cabbage is a source of vitamin K. Vitamin K is good for blood clotting too. Vitamin K is also good it's involved in some protein synthesis. You will notice that the issue of constipation will be gone. And that is the one issue that was solved as a result of the bringing in of the cabbage, in the breakfast, either including the raw and the lightly cooked one, joining in with carrots and then egg and a little of the green, making the green veggies less. There was obvious I noticed obviously that there were changes, expected changes as a result of this new addition to the breakfast. And so you will continue to check and monitor to know which ones, once the constipation has been dealt with, because it deals perfectly with constipation. If you are also going to high blood pressure, it's a perfect one for you. You can add water leaf in a little quantity of it and use it with one egg, and then other small spices instead of other, because of it's easy to digest. It makes the stool to be bulky. It's more kidney friendly. Talking of the cabbage, it's more kidney friendly. It's even more diabetic friendly in a way, because I noticed a normal blood sugar during the period, because it does not support weight gain. Rather, it supports weight loss. It does not allow the body to absorb fat in a way. And so when the weight is dropping, going down, obviously the blood pressure will also be getting normalized. The diabetes or insulin resistance will also be, controlled. These are my observations and findings with this latest addition. It's very, very easy. It's very simple. You just get it. How do you use it? You remove the peels. You don't need to cut it from the middle, because when you cut it from the middle, maybe I need to do a video again and show us. If you cut from the middle, you may not be able to exhaust it. Because if you put too much of it in your breakfast with other carbs or whatever you want to take with it, it's going to affect your blood sugar. So you need to take it in a little, take little quantity. When you bring it, you remove the layer, because it's in layers. Instead of slicing it to two and allowing air to move in between it, you peel it, remove it as you are removing the clothing, and as you do it, you'll be able to keep the other ones preserved. And just about 2 sheets is what I usually make use of, and it's all normally okay. 2 wraps of it as it's wrapped, and then put a little onions, because onions is also a source of sugar. And when you do it with a little green like water leaf is the one I have been in love with. Just add a little, make sure there is green in it, but let the cabbage and all those stuff have more of it. You can put tomatoes. Occasionally I do add the tomatoes, but these are the low calorie vegetables. The tomatoes is part of it. The onions, the garlic, the cabbage, they are all low calorie vegetables. Even the water leaf is also a low calorie vegetable. You can use it. These are the latest mixture and concoction that I have switched over to. And of course, most of the times I go with sweet potatoes and a cup of any tea of my choice to go with it. And when it's not sweet potato, you can take any other carb, but when you consider that the richness of sweet potatoes and so that is about that. My time is up. I told us I'm going to take very short time, and that is all I have for this session. My breakfast idea, that is the latest addition I made. You don't need to peel everything off. Just take it little by little so it doesn't affect your blood sugar. And then you can take any carbohydrates of your choice and enjoy yourself. You don't need to stress. As long as the processed carbs are not there, the trans fats are not there, or the bouillon cubes, you just add all those blood sugar lowering spices and you are good to go. Thanks for watching. And I promised us it's not going to be long. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more, because I shall be coming your way with more of such tips and updates on my breakfast ideas. I'm coming up with another update. This is so far the changes I've made. Reducing the greens and then including more of the colors to support my kidney health. Thank you for watching.